After having a rough idea on Fiverr and how it works, you may start to think, what if I have too much traffic and I can't cope with them? What if I do not have enough time to finish the work? Is there any way for me to earn money but at the same time save my effort so that I don't have to work like a dog but still get my income? I can tell you, yes, there is a way for you to save your time and effort without cutting away from your income. The answer is brokering. So, who is a broker? What is brokering and how does it help? A broker is a go-between in making relationships, for example, a marriage broker. Otherwise, a broker is commonly known as the third party to a transaction providing a service to one of the parties, whereby the client could do the particular service by themselves but chooses not to. Thus, the broker mobilizes resources to facilitate exchange and action on the ground. Brokers establish a tenuous relationship with a large number of carriers. It is a marketing tool which acts as facilitators, middlemen, and matchmakers, the latter being the most common service. Now, how do you become a successful Fiverr broker who can earn a lot with minimum effort? There are several things to focus on before you become a successful Fiverr broker. Let me guide you through this ebook. First of all, identifying your need is a very important part. You don't want to extend your traffic in too many fields. Observe the marketplace and look for a niche that you can slip into. The biggest need will be in an area where the supply and demand structure is sluggish or does not otherwise satisfy the consumers and suppliers. Here, consumers equate to your client while suppliers are the outsource you find to provide the service for you. Services or specialty products are usually easier industries to break into as new middlemen. You must not stretch yourself too thin and be specific in one type of product or service. For example, if you are talented in graphic design, you can choose to reach out to people who are in need of specialization in this field, both consumers and suppliers. Prevent yourself from being obsolete by diversifying the sources and specifics of the overall product or service you're specializing in. Secondly, you will need to set up your own business. When you work as an independent middleman, you'll be establishing your own business. You will need to research on any restrictions involved and what kind of service you want to provide. Of course, by setting up your own business, you will need your traffic to flow in, which I will teach you later on. After getting your business and needs checked, it is time for you to research on your potential consumers and suppliers. Determine who the consumers of your chosen product or service are. It will depend on the nature of your intended business. Like I have mentioned above, you need to be specific and find your niche. Quality comes first before quantity. The quality of the service you provide to consumers must be top-notch, and the quality of the overall experience you offer to both suppliers and consumers must be of a high grade too. You can maximize success by becoming the person whom your consumers and suppliers turn to for a better experience. Of course, you will want your consumers to be satisfied with your job so that they will become loyal to you. Naturally, you'll be highly rated if you provide customer satisfaction, and highly rated services attract more traffic. This is actually a direct proportional act which will affect each other. Next, find as many potential suppliers for your chosen product or service as possible. Do your research on each one and narrow down the possibilities to the top 10. This is to ensure the returned work will be in good quality, which makes finding the right suppliers an important task to do. Furthermore, it is generally safer to work with multiple suppliers instead of a single source, regardless of the product or service you work with. Your business will go under as soon as your supplier decides to stop working with you, if you only have one supplier for your service. Moving on, you may ask for a quote. Contact your potential consumers and ask them to give their price quote on a certain quantity of product or quality of service. For example, you may request for an add-on with every extra 100 words written, or any extra colors for a logo design. But remember, add-ons must be reasonable or else you might scare them off. Negotiate with them so that you both can have the best price given. But of course, the needs and quotes of every single consumer may vary in different ways. Next, you can add your cuts to the cost. This is because you will earn money being a middleman by earning a certain commission from each sale you make. The exact amount can vary. It is based on how much your consumer offers and how much you offer to your suppliers. For example, your consumer offers you 10 USD for every 200 words for the content. You outsource this job to your supplier, ask for 2,000 words for the content, and offer a total of 30 USD. 2,000 words are equivalent to 100 USD, which means you have earned a total of 70 USD with the least effort. After the product is returned to you from the supplier, you may proceed to pass the information to your consumer. Listening to your consumer's feedback is also an important note to take. This is because you need to understand what your consumer really wants for their service and whether the service that your supplier gives to you matches the expectations of your consumer. The idea you have in your head may not be the best course of action. It is always good to have an open mind and be flexible to any idea provided. Observe both sides of your business carefully to determine how well your current process works and where you might need to improve. You may even consider asking the parties you work with to rate the experience or answer a few survey questions about it. Also, you have to stay responsive to both your consumers and suppliers. Make yourself easy to reach by giving out your contact number, social media accounts, or email. This is so that if there are any questions from any side, you will be able to respond quickly and clear their doubts. It is a win-win situation whereby you will gain a good reputation among your consumers and suppliers, and at the same time, get your own profits earned. So finally, why brokering? This is because it helps you to earn easy money. Who doesn't want to earn money with the least effort spent? Of course, I wouldn't say there's no effort spent because you will still need to generate your traffic to your account and optimize your profile in order to gain population. But you can lay back and see the money go into your account after that. Brokering also helps you to save time. After you have outsourced most of your work to your suppliers, they are the ones who will be busy. As for you, you may take your own sweet time and save on legwork. You see, just by taking some extra actions, you can make your life so much easier. You don't have to work like a dog to earn your income. Working smart is more efficient than working hard and will double up your saved time and work. So why hesitate? Let me show you how to be a successful Fiverr broker in no time. In order to maintain yourself as the top seller list on Fiverr, getting a 5-star rating for your profile is essential. You'll get more features from Fiverr when you receive the status of top-rated seller. By this, the chances of getting your gigs featured by Fiverr will become higher as well. This is why you need to be dedicated to your job and do your best in keeping your customers satisfied. Getting a 3-star rating will not be adequate. Get yourself at least a 4-star rating from each buyer you serve. As a seller, you would not want to miss out on this module on how to get and maintain 5-star ratings in Fiverr. Without further ado, let's get into it. As a seller on Fiverr, it is always great to have 5 stars or 100% ratings on your account. Not only does this help you get more sales, it also makes you an authority in your niche. If being a top-rated seller is your goal, it is also important to achieve your full 5-star rating. If you want a 100% positive rating on your account, you will of course need to give 100% of effort in doing your job. That's what every buyer wants, right? If I put you in the same situation, you would want your sellers to do their best too. The definition of a good quality job may vary from time to time because it depends on your customer's expectations. However, it is a must for you to reach your customer's expectations or even exceed it. Who doesn't want a better job done? A basic but important thing to remember is that you need to follow up on the order. It is important so that you can avoid delivering inadequate work. For example, if you're writing content, proofread your grammar and spelling to avoid mistakes. If you're designing a graphic or a logo, avoid putting the wrong color or sketch, which is different from what your buyer wants. Up next is to be punctual when delivering your job. Do not delay. Be determined when completing your responsibilities. Your buyer is paying you for your product, and you are not doing this for free or for charity. In regards to responsibilities, you wouldn't want the same thing to happen to you if you're the buyer. If you're having some problems in your process, reach out to the buyer and politely explain to them that their order would be delivered late. Customers are usually understanding if you provide clear and polite explanations. Sometimes your buyer might want to know more about what you can provide before they get in touch with you. Thus, adding details to your description will make it easier for them to understand, so that they will have a rough idea on what you're capable of before making their decision. Check this example of a description out. If you want a simple yet elegant logo, you can apply here. You'll get the following services, each for $5. Important: discuss the font before placing an order. High quality design from a low quality logo. Vector designing: redesigning basic logos from a previously designed logo. Extra charges on complex designs discussed before placing an order. Editing a logo. Adding or changing text. I do not draw or redraw human faces. If you have any issues or complaints, please do not leave a bad review. Instead, kindly message me so we can work things out. This also prevents misunderstandings between you and your buyer. If a misunderstanding occurs, you must always ask them to refer back to your description as solid proof instead of you debating with your buyer to defend yourself. Misunderstandings may create bad feelings and cause a higher possibility to lower down your rating. One word of advice: be responsible when doing your job. Do not treat this as freelance work. When you have the mentality that $5 jobs are not worth investing time and effort, you will not be able to deliver good quality work. Always think of this as an opportunity to improve your work. If you manage to keep this up, you can keep them as your long-term customers. People will always come back to you for your service if they have had good experiences dealing with you. Do not deliver the work if you're not satisfied with it. This is the key to delivering good quality work. Set your standards slightly higher so that if you are satisfied with the end result of your work, your client is going to love it even more. Another thing is not to go offline for a long period of time without checking your orders. If you're going to be away for some time, for example, going on vacation or attending a wedding, put your gig on vacation mode. But be sure to complete any job at hand or explain to the buyers that you would not be able to complete the job during that period. 5-star ratings will not only make your profile look good and give you the traffic you want, but also separate you from the average seller. After being separated from the average seller, buyers will have a clearer picture on who you are. You must aim to stand out amongst all other sellers in order to make more money. Buyers will be more willing to pay more if you're a 5-star rating seller. Believe me, 5-star ratings are much more trustworthy. There are a few methods to maintain 5-star ratings. If you know the game well enough, you'll understand the points that I'm going to say. Do whatever which is requested of you from the buyer, even if that means spending a few more hours on it. Run your Fiverr gig like you would run a business. Be courteous, and remember that the customer is always your biggest priority. Don't be afraid to over-deliver. Over-delivering doesn't mean that you're doing charity. It is a marketing technique that would make your buyer happy. Let's assume you promised 200 words but delivered 280 words instead. Who wouldn't be happy about a free bonus, right? You must understand that building up a relationship with your buyer is the only long-term solution to get them to come back to your service. The only way to build up a relationship with your potential customer is through the conversation with them. Thus, get to know your buyer well, and you can even refer to them by their first name. In fact, always name them first before you move on to your content. Even though it may seem insignificant, attitude makes a huge impact towards your job and yourself. You may be wondering how others earn up to hundreds or thousands of revenue just by offering services on Fiverr, if it is just worth $5 for every service. However, if you have already been in the Fiverr business for long, you would know the secret. Yes, it's through stacking up on gig extras. Gig extras are the main source of income. In marketing terms, the $5 work can be said to be the front-end product that you offer to attract potential customers. Once they get into your offer page, they will see the upsells, which are the gig extras on Fiverr. That being said, gig extras increase the revenue for one gig. Like I said, a gig extra allows you to earn more than $5 for one gig in Fiverr. You are creating your own sales funnel in Fiverr when you create gig extras for your gig. Through the sales funnel you've created, you do not need to send more traffic to the same place. By just offering the gig extras, you can generate larger profits with the same amount of traffic. Gig extras are the additional services that you can offer them on top of the gig for an additional price defined by the sellers. For instance, if you offer a 3-minute voiceover with $5, The gig extras that you can put here is an extra $10 for syncing the voice over to the video. The prices for gig extras are all up to you, but take note of this: the gig extras that you offer must be congruent to your gig, and the price must be fair. Other than knowing why you should offer gig extras on Fiverr, one thing you need to take note of is the different Fiverr levels. You will get to offer more gig extras as you advance up each higher level. When you first get started on Fiverr, you'll be complimented with 2 gig extras by Fiverr. Meaning to say, other than the first gig of $5, you can add up to 2 gig extras with prices up to $20 each. Moving forward, if you are a level 1 seller, you will have the privilege to add up to 4 gig extras with prices up to $40. When you're given the status of a level 2 seller, which is also called the Pro League, you'll be given 5 gig extras up to $50 for each gig extra. When you have reached the top level, which is the top rated seller, you'll be given 6 gig extras up to $100 for 1 gig extra. This is the benefit that is exclusively offered to the top rated sellers. They could earn up to at least $600 for just 1 gig. And this is why sellers put in all effort to make their way through to achieve the top-rated seller status. The higher the level, the more benefits you'll have. The more gig extras you create, the more revenue you can generate in 1 gig. Imagine if you could earn up to $300 a gig, and you have 10 gigs in queue. Hence, you'll earn about $3,000 a month. And this may be the least you can generate, as it could be more. And when you have more gigs on hand, you can generate more revenue than before, which you can then choose to outsource some or even all the gigs to freelancers. It will be more efficient to buy someone else's time to work for you. When you increase the revenue, the margin that you can offer to your freelancers would be higher too. Moving on, you increase the variety of your services when you increase the offer of gig extras. You offer a package of services to ease the work of your buyers. People always look for a place where someone could do everything for them. Offering gig extras is a great way to understand what your customers need. After some time, you can design a package of services and put it up as the custom offer for your customers. When people click on the custom offer, it will automatically pick on all the gig extras for them. Think of it as setting up a favorite order for them. Here's a small tip for you. You can set the price to be slightly lower than usual when offering them the custom offer. This would ease your customers' work as well as increase the purchase rate. On Fiverr, the procedure of being the middleman, in other words, brokering, can be complicated if you're not familiar with the system. From communicating and getting information from the customers, looking for and dealing with freelancers, to the delivering of work, it would be a big problem if you do not know the right way of doing this. In this video, I'll teach you about the brokering system and lead you step by step through the whole procedure. Without further ado, let's get started. Step 1. Connect with the client. This would be the most important part amongst all the other steps. Connecting with the client and understanding their needs are the keys to success, so communication with the client is essential. Throughout the conversation, get as much information as you can to understand clients' needs. The key point here is to be specific. Quality work can only be delivered when you can achieve what your clients want. If needed, collect the necessary files to be sent to the freelancers. Once you have obtained the information from your client, list them down and state the prices for each gig. Send them the custom offer according to their requirements. However, remember that they might not take up the offer if the price is too expensive. But once they've accepted the offer and made the payment, you can then proceed to the next step. Step 2 is to look for the freelancer. If you've already been in the business for some time, you would have already built up some connections with freelancers. Send the request from the client to freelancer. Take note before sending the request to rearrange the details of the gig. If there are special requirements from the client, list them as special remarks. Always remember to be specific on the request of the client when you convey the message to your freelancer. When both of you have made a mutual agreement on the work, set a timeline due. Set the date at least 30 days before the actual delivery date to your client. This is to ensure that there is still a period of time for you to make changes to refine the work. For example, if you are requested to deliver the job within a week, give your freelancer 4 to 5 days to complete the job. After dealing with the freelancers, you can now spare some time to connect with other clients or other jobs. However, note that you will have to keep track of the work progress. According to how you've dealt with your client, the date of delivery is already set. You can't afford to deliver it later than the date because this would definitely leave a bad impression on your clients. So be sure to keep in touch with the freelancer to check on the work progress. You must also be wise in choosing the right timing. Knowing the progress of the work is important, but you must also know when to look for the freelancer. Depending on the duration for delivery, you will need to set your timing. For instance, if the duration of delivery is within a week, you can contact the freelancer every once in 2 days. This is to make sure that the work is up to standard, as well as to keep both of you up to the timeline. Like I have mentioned earlier, get the work from the freelancer at least 3 days before the delivery date to do a final check on the work. Delivering good quality work is the key to keeping your clients happy. Therefore, to ensure the quality of work is up to standard, get the work earlier from the freelancer to avoid last-minute changes. When you are checking on the quality of work, always take the client's requirements into account. The quality of the work is based on the requirements from clients. It is neither up to you nor the freelancer to decide. Thus, check the work based on the information provided by your client. If needed, request for final revision of the work. Lastly, deliver the work to your client. Once you've gotten the entire work from your freelancer, compile them and save it in zip file if needed. Double or even triple check the work. A small tip here: create a checklist. For example, if you are requested to create a logo and have to save it in different formats, list them down on a paper. Check on the files and make sure you have all the formats in the folder. A checklist will ease your work on this. Finally, deliver it to your client. When you switch your role from a seller to a broker on Fiverr, you could free up your time because you can now outsource the job to freelancers. But this doesn't mean that you can stop working. Instead, fully utilize your time to generate traffic to your profile. No matter how cool or fabulous your gig is, you are not going to generate any sales if your profile is not visible to your potential clients. Thus, generating traffic to the profile becomes as important as delivering quality work. This is a time-consuming task, which requires a lot of effort. Hence, now that you have freed up your time by outsourcing the jobs to freelancers, you can focus on generating traffic to your profile. You have to get the word out about your gig and give them a reason to visit your profile. The first way of doing it is by spreading the news on social media platforms. As you already know, social media platforms can be a powerful tool nowadays. The news can be spread on the media like a contagious virus within hours. Start with creating your own fan page and promote your gigs on social media platforms. This would be the fastest and cheapest way. The cost for doing this can be said to be near to zero, as you do not need to pay anything for people to see it. Other than just promoting your gig through your fan page, join groups or forums that are related to Fiverr. Search for groups in Facebook. There are plenty of groups available. However, always look for active ones. If they are a closed group, request to join them. Once you have gotten the approval, start talking to the people there. Introduce yourself and start a conversation with the people there. Other than making the announcement of your gig over there, you can research on how other sellers promote their gig, especially the top-rated sellers in the group. Besides looking for opportunities on Facebook, you can post your status on Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Though social media platforms can be a really powerful tool to promote your gigs and increase the traffic to your profile, one thing that you can't forget is the star ratings on Fiverr. Even though people may click on your link and go to your profile, if your star rating is not as good as other sellers, you may lose them forever. Thus, accumulating a massive number of positive feedback to maintain your rating is essential. It is recommended that you keep your profile rating as 4 or above out of the 5. Visitors evaluate sellers based on the star rating nowadays. They compare the star rating of sellers and pick the one with a higher rating. When your profile has a higher star rating and more positive feedback than negative feedback, visitors are more likely to choose you over the others. Another great way to generate traffic to your profile is by focusing your profile to a targeted niche. Unlike aiming for the general market, you are now focusing on just one market. Instead of getting everyone to see your profile, you need to be picky on your clients now. To do this, you will need to do a bit of optimization on your gig description. For instance, instead of using general keywords such as a logo and video, change it to a business logo or speed drawing video. When you use a gig description like this, you are at the same time narrowing down the market. If this sounds bad, it's actually not. When you're focusing on a targeted niche, visitors are more likely to get your profile in the search results when they are looking for specific services on Fiverr. Do some research on the hot keywords that visitors will usually search for on Fiverr, and then optimize your gig description with those keywords. This way, when visitors search for specific services, chances that your gig page appears in the homepage are higher. Aim for a focused niche and get quality clients on Fiverr. Last but not least, you can conduct your own advert campaigns on social media platforms such as Facebook and YouTube. If you own a Facebook fan page, you can run an advert campaign with it. Once you've created the campaign and set up the targeted group which you wish to show your ad, you could possibly get connected to the untapped users that you never knew would be interested in your service. Beyond Facebook, Twitter would be the largest social media platform people always hang out on. You can post your status and even create your own hashtag that will link to any of your social media profiles. If you have a video to promote your gig, you can upload it to YouTube and run an ad campaign for it. You may think running advert campaigns on Facebook and YouTube may incur huge costs, but the good news is you run everything under your control. You can set your own budget on how much you would spend for the campaign. I will not talk about how to set up your advert campaigns here because it's a totally different ballgame. Moving on, if you have your own website or even your own mailing list, do not hesitate to mail out your gig offer to them. According to research, 44% of email recipients make at least one purchase based on a promotional email. From this statistic, you can see that people actually open and make a purchase from promotional emails. If you already have a mailing list, do not hesitate to send them your offer. If you do not have one, it's time to start building one. You leave a lot of money behind without building up your own mailing list. You can send them the promotional emails whenever you have a new gig or new product to share with them. We all know that you need a resume when you apply for a job or go for an interview. Your Fiverr profile works just like your resume when you don't just say a few words about yourself. Think about it. Before committing to a company, you will probably research their background, company history, and reviews. Trust me, Fiverr buyers act just like that too. On Fiverr, the first thing most buyers will do before they click the purchase button is to check out your seller profile. So your Fiverr profile is where you make your first impression on your buyers. By reading your profile, buyers will be able to understand you, know your background and experience, and most importantly, you can gain their trust. Believe me, your customers' trust is worth more than anything. Remember that your Fiverr profile is a part of you, so it's important that buyers get a real sense of who you are and what matters to you. Your profile will be an expression of your passion on what you are into and what you are capable of. With a groomed Fiverr profile, you can even build up a good reputation amongst your customers, which leads to higher rating profiles. There are a few ways to optimize your profile, so are you ready for this section? Get yourself ready and let's go. When a person sees something, that person relates to the picture or color first, followed by words and texts. So a proper profile picture is essential for your Fiverr profile. The first step is choosing a picture that conveys the value you want to show. Choosing an image of an object, an animal, or anything else that isn't you doesn't help. It looks like you're trying to be anonymous, which is something that doesn't increase trust. As I've said earlier, your customer's trust is gold. For your profile picture, you do not have to put on airs to look cool. Just be comfortable about who you really are. Let me give you a situation. If a person you don't know added you on any of your social media accounts with a profile picture of an animal, would you accept their request? It is highly unlikely that you would. Same goes with your customer. After all, your customer doesn't choose you because of the way you look. It is what is inside you that matters the most. You don't want to be an empty can that makes the most noise. To make customers take notice of you, your profile description comes in handy. This is because it helps to cement your customer's first impression on you in a space of 2 tweets. You will need to be genuine when you are writing your background and experiences. Don't be biased. Stay honest and make your description short and sweet. Being dishonest on your profile description will never help and may bring negative reviews instead if found out. The next thing you need to take note on will be your vocabulary, grammar, spelling, and punctuation. All these are important because they create a professional appearance. Your customers may not be a grammar expert, but they would definitely know a poorly written article when they see it. Keep this in mind. Fiverr is a marketplace created predominantly for English-speaking customers, so the odds are stacked against non-native speakers. Hence, it's time to brush up on your grammar. All customers will not reject a fast delivery. Every customer wants to be your first priority and hopes that you get things done as quickly as possible. If you're not able to deliver quickly, try not to delay. It will be a big turnoff to your customer and it lowers your customer's trust. However, you can always set your standard delivery days. For example, if your standard delivery day is 4 days, you may offer your customer an extra fast delivery, which is 2 days. But you need to know your limit and not overexert yourself. Positive reviews are the key to attracting more customers. Good reviews build confidence and make customers more likely to buy from you. People are more likely to trust highly rated products in general. Thus, you may need to do everything possible to take care of your customers and earn their 100% affirmation and 5-star reviews. Not to worry, I will teach you on how to get 5-star ratings in the next chapter. By the way, do not buy reviews or create fake reviews. If your work is not outstanding, customers will see through the fake reviews and figure out that you're padding your own gigs. In this case, not only do you lose your customers' trust, you also lose your special ranking if you are a new seller on Fiverr. No matter how small an amount $5 has become in today's world, it is still something we do not want to risk as a bad experience. It is better if you and your customer achieve a mutual understanding on the issue of refunding. For example, if you cannot make your order right, promise your customer that you will fully refund the amount back. A mutual cancellation can be done peacefully with the right attitude. It is normal for people to get really sensitive when it comes to money issues. Customers tend to get cranky when their orders fail to reach their expectations after spending a certain amount of money to get their work done. You will get complaints and negative reviews that touch on money issues. When this occurs in your profile, your reputation and the effort you put in could be discarded in a flash. To get more people to be aware about your profile, you can create content with a blog post. Use social media accounts like Facebook or Twitter to share. If you don't have the time to create content or don't have the motivation to do so, you can always post tweets with your links for informative and interesting articles related to your service. Use helpful software like Buffer to schedule your tweets to your posts in advance so that you won't have to keep posting in order to grab attention. But take note, continuous self-promotion will only irritate people and cause them to unfollow you. Hence, in order to grab people's attention, you might want to craft some good tweets with attractive images. As I've mentioned above, people look at the colors first. Long texts or content will only bore them. The time will inevitably come when there may be something wrong with one of your gigs, or you're having a problem with your account, or a buyer leaves a completely unfounded negative review, or something awful happens that can only be solved by Fiverr's customer support department. Attitude is important. You don't want to be rude to them as they are your lifelines. Last but not least, do not be a copycat. It is very important for you to know this. Do not copy even if you are desperate for great gigs to boost your profile. Copying is rude and dishonest. If you do so, you're stealing others' ideas to make your own profits. If the original seller finds out about this, they can launch a report against you. By getting reported from the original seller, not only will your gig get taken down, your entire account could get closed down too. So it is very important that you do not copy.